Is all breakout rooms closed? Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Hope everyone enjoyed getting to know each other a little bit more. Without further ado, we're gonna kick off part two of this workshop. So take it away, Connor, and yeah, let's get going.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Michael. Thanks so much, Sophie. Um, really great to be back, y'all. Cool to see an awesome turnout. I'm gonna drop my info here in the chat. Thank you, Mary. I remember after doing this getting some good feedback, and one of them was someone specifically shared, I wasn't sure whether or not to network with Connor thereafter. We are all here to network with each other. Please, please, if you haven't already, drop your LinkedIn in the chat. We are one big community, right? Um, I also wanted to preface before getting into the weeds and going through my slide deck, speaking to everything. I find it so much more invaluable to have maybe a more informal type of style. So if you have a question in the moment, I'm going to be sharing my screen. I don't have multiple monitors going because I'm in the office. But if you could just hop off the mic and say, hey, Connor, I'm sorry, you're going too fast. You're going too slow. Can you talk about that more? What did you mean by that? That's really going to help me because I just want to give you all the best feedback that I can. So at the highest level, I'm going to go through all of this. Going to go over like quick review of the tips and tricks from last time, do a little bit of a deeper dive on the networking stuff, and then we're going to allocate at least half of our time to going over profiles. Um, are there any high level questions before we start? Not all at once. All right, let's get it going. Let me share my screen real quick. Can people see my screen? Happy to put it in presenter mode.
Yep.
Yeah, looks good, just not a full screen.
Awesome, awesome. All right, where go? So we're back. Um, as aforementioned, this is what we're generally going to be doing today. Uh, we have a little bit of stuff at the beginning and the end, but gonna go through the slides not too quickly, but do a quick recap, and then we're actually gonna work on the tangible. So show there's an interactive component. I have a couple things to show you. Want to do a deep dive specifically on the about section. Um, yeah, and then we're gonna look at profiles. So this is me. He and his pronouns, Connor. I'm back. um, Want to remind everyone, I've spent thousands of hours. That feels at least 1,000 hours, like on LinkedIn, uh, since I started in undergrad, and I've been attending different uh, expert, panels and after looking over hundreds of profiles and doing a dozen of these events, like I consider myself an expert. But I want to reaffirm or at least make people feel a little bit more assured that this is also strongly aligned with what a lot of experts are saying. So let's get to it. Quick recap. Some of these slides are going to look very familiar. Why is LinkedIn a priority? In my first presentation, I shared that there were maybe, I think there were 10 stats that I used. I want to remind us of three really important reasons why we should prioritize LinkedIn. One, the vast majority of our jobs are filled not by our immediate network, our immediate family, the people we always hang out with, but instead our extended network. And the majority of jobs are never even published. A lot of jobs that are posted on job listing sites are really just meant as a display because it's really expensive for companies to look outside of their company where there's an internal vetting process. It's a lot of time, money, resources, a lot to allocate to sifting out who's a good candidate out in the vast big world. And then 12.6 and 12.1, that's the number of jobs that men and women are expected to have in their lifetime, which is so fundamentally different from our parents, where maybe, again, this is a huge generalization, but historically, people would not have that many jobs. And now, if you're in a job for more than 5 years, people are asking why you're not actively trying to grow. There's a lot of great benefits to LinkedIn beyond the networking, which are here, but want to focus on some of the really big important topics from last time. LinkedIn is nebulous, and I think a lot of people get scared by that. They think, ooh, is that I see influencers? Is this like Facebook, Meta? Is it a copy and paste of my resume? What is this? It's anything you want it to be, but understanding that we live in a soundbite world, you want to have this be almost like a soft landing to your resume and who you are. LinkedIn is something that works 24/7 for you. So it makes sense to be proactive here on this site rather than reactive when life happens. Yeah, anything that I missed here? Oh, I think there's a lot of information out there surrounding recruiting.
Mm.
And I think that there are times
Yeah.
where it absolutely makes sense. Oh, sorry, is someone.
Huh? Oh, hi, yeah. I'm listening
Oh,
to
I'm
you.
sorry. I think. Okay.
I
Wasn't
think
sure if
his
there
I
was a
think his
question.
mic was just off.
Okay. All good. Um, eagerly await the participation. Please don't hesitate to interrupt me. LinkedIn there's a lot of information out there surrounding recruiting. And I think that there are times where it really makes sense to curate your profile for a particular moment in time when you're really trying to gun for one particular job. But in general, I'm focusing more on the networking or like your baseline for how you want to present yourself to the world. And I think a great gut check, it's, at the absolute highest level, because LinkedIn is nebulous, that gives you a lot of freedom and you can present yourself however you want. It's really important to remember why people are, or how they're going to look at your profile on LinkedIn. So, or how they're going to look at your LinkedIn profile, whether that's your laptop or your phone. So as a gut check, I think it's really healthy to look at both. Quick question for the audience. Does anyone remember just trying to get a quick pulse and see if anyone actually looked at reviewed the first presentation, but do we remember what the main point of this slide was? That's
This
totally okay.
was,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I watched it this morning. So you were saying that there's the top skills that people are looking for, and you could potentially like put one or two of those on showcase one or two of those on your profile.
Absolutely. Great summary. So just to flesh out what you just shared a little bit more, there are two skills that we need right now, which is creative thinking and analytical thinking, especially as we're on the precipice of Gen AI. And then that's actually the other thing I wanted to touch upon quickly. Both Gen AI and sustainability are the future. So we're in the right place. You're often going to see a bunch of different desired skills, and you can change what your skills are for those jobs. But generally, these are the two that you want to have. And if you see a top list of the top 10 skills desired, often there'll be things that are completely unrelated. One might be finance, another might be Python. You don't want to be both of those people. You want to be a little bit more specialized if you're really focused on those top skills. This is something we're absolutely going to do a much deeper dive on, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. The About section is not an elevator, or it's a really, really brief intro to yourself. And the main thing I actually want you to take away from this slide is that number 1 to 2, and then the other group of numbers 3 to 5. 1 to 2 lines, nothing on your profile should be like a huge chunk of text. And then 3 to 5 items. There are a couple exceptions, but by and large, you don't want to have a dozen plus things under any particular section because no one's going to look at 7 of 12 and say, this is our person. All right, so a little bit more of a deeper dive, less review. There are a lot of ways to engage on LinkedIn, all the way from liking posts to becoming an expert and sharing your point of view with the world. Liking posts is probably the easiest thing to do. And I think this slide, the main takeaway here is it's really, the more you interact with LinkedIn, the more you're going to get out of it. And it doesn't have to be earth shattering. You can spend 5 minutes a day, 20 minutes a week, and LinkedIn's going to positively reward what you do with positive feedback. So yes, writing posts, writing or liking posts, writing comments, messaging connections, just checking in, saying, hey, it's been a while, or I saw you got a promotion. Well done. Happy birthday. That goes far. People like to be seen. if you already have a lot, 500 plus connections, maybe it doesn't make sense to completely start over and go, oh, I need to go through all these connections. I need to capture all this. Just start today. Have something so as, over the course of several years, you might have, I don't know, let's pull some really just random numbers. You have 200 new connections over the course of 2 years. And you're thinking, oh, do I know anyone in this particular space? Rather than racking your brain, looking at schools, trying to find someone, you can just refer to this Excel template that has these headers. Giving endorsements. This is something that I'm going to speak to a little bit more. And Sophie, if you could drop the link in the chat. If not, I'm happy to post it later. This boosts your profile and it strengthens your connections. So I'm going to voice over. I don't know. I don't have the chat feature set up, but I'm going to voice over what is in this post, and I can share this with anyone after the call. I'm going to quickly interrupt myself. Want to reemphasize, please post your LinkedIn in the chat if you haven't already. Please connect with everyone here. We are all trying to this is our community, and it's really important that we remain connected.
Hey, Connor.
Yeah.
One thing in the chat was, will you share the presentation deck after the session?
Happy to.
Elsa. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I would hope that we don't circulate. Well, it's fine. You know what? The presentation's out here. Just I would love to keep it with the EDF. I tried to tailor it for y'all, but yes, more than happy to. So if you're feverishly taking notes, I'm glad. Please don't let this wash over you. You can watch the recording. You can get the slide deck. Thanks for flagging, Michael. So voicing this over real fast. People, as I've mentioned, like to be seen. If you endorse them, which is, like saying, hey, I think you are good at X, Y, or Z skills, then they're likely going to say, oh, someone looks at my profile, this person, and they're thinking positively of me. That's great. They may take it the next step if I would contest if they were smart about their networking and say, thanks for endorsing me. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to help me when I didn't even ask. And that's the perfect opportunity to then say, of course, if you have a moment, I would really appreciate it if you could do the same for me. The more endorsements or people liking your skills, let's say, that you get on your profile, the better you look. And that means you're strengthening connections, right? Your people are like, oh yeah, I remember Connor. I remember doing this with him. And I'm really grateful that he did that. It's so much easier to ask for something after you've done something positive for other people. And this is a really easy lift. Informational interviews. That's another thing. If you have a question on hey, what would that look like? We have ChatGPT, and you can totally just plug something in. This is something that I use. Haven't used a filter for that, but it's essentially hey, this is what I'm all about. And I have X, Y, or Z experience. Was looking through LinkedIn, I came across your profile. Can we discuss this? And then show some intentionality, and also find nuanced things. If you're wow, this person went to Kenya, I really want to go there. Drop that in there. It doesn't all have to be professional. Show that you're human too. Yeah, this is just a template. Feel free to use it. Feel free to make it smaller. Less is more. Some people really like having in the intro the most important information, this is my ask, and then they give more context thereafter. I think that's a good rule of thumb. Request referrals. That's a typo. Recommendations is how LinkedIn uses it. But if sometimes it's a big ask to say, hey, can you write me a letter of rec? And I think a really easy thing to do, if you're hey, I have I can only get 2 or 3 recommendations. And while I really want, context. If you're applying for something and it requires a letter of recommendation and you have 2 or 3 good options, rather than saying, well, I'm only going to pick this one person or these 2 people and not ask this other person, try and get all 3 and then just have them in your back pocket. But if that's not applicable, have someone that's willing to write a letter of rec, but you're this isn't the perfect fit. Have them write something for you on LinkedIn as a recommendation. if you really want to take it the extra mile, be a top contributor, as LinkedIn says, feel free to start posting and sharing your insights. They're constantly posting all different types of things, trying to get expert opinions. Gonna do a quick time check. All right, we're doing okay. Wait, was there anything here? Oh, as a general rule of thumb, customize. So often there's like an automatic just thing that, or yeah, the prompt will just, it'll give you a filler message where it's like happy birthday, and then it has a few extra words, but really it's being used for everyone. Add 1 or 2 little notes that make it clear that you gave it some serious thought for at least a moment. That really translates well. It's the same way that writing a handwritten letter is has a lot of meaning, even if it's fewer words than an email. I would contest that a really, really long email might be of equal weight to a much shorter handwritten card, just because they both require the same amount of time, as an example. So key takeaways, LinkedIn 24/7. So it is a platform that you should absolutely be utilizing. There's over 1 billion people on this website. And then it's nebulous, lean into that. That is okay. It's not like a resume where if you're like, this is really deviating from, like, they're not quantifying stuff. It's really easy to be nitpicky when it's really well known what makes a good resume. LinkedIn's not that way. Embrace that. And then remember, it's a soft landing. It's a visual introduction. It is the aesthetic, easy to navigate resume. So I'm gonna escape. Before we move on, were there any questions? Cool. So before we get into looking at particular profiles, wanted to do a quick like demo of how this might look. I asked both Michael and Sophie if they could be guinea pigs. I have not, I did look at Michael's briefly. I've not looked at Sophie's. So we're going to be doing this. Yeah, going to be doing this together. So Michael, thanks so much for being voluntold and doing this.
Totally.
I love that quick refresher. There's going to be some recap of the initial presentation, but at a glance, love the photo. I love how
I think
approachable
you
it
need
is.
to share my screen.
Is it not?
My-
Oh, let me
Yeah.
stop sharing and do that again. Uh-oh. Sorry, my mouse is bouncing around. How about now?
Looks good.
So much better. All right, we're together. So, at a glance, I love right away that I can tell you're all about sustainability in the world in a moment, less than a second. The phrase a picture's worth 1,000 words, more than applicable here. I like this photo. It shows that you're approachable. It's great lighting. I like the depth. Yeah, none too bright. I do think potentially having a different colored shirt, it does blend in a little bit with the background. Also, if you could zoom in, I think what's so weird, right? It's kind of like, I call it a moonshot. You zoom in so much on your face. Why? Because more often than not, people are looking at your profile on a phone. And if I see this, I might not be able to distinguish you from someone else if I've just met you. So those are some thoughts there. Love this up top. I wonder if it's too many lines on your phone. Might be a good pulse check. Also, you know what? I was just so excited. Gotta jump the gun. I want to clarify so that people aren't nervous, where it seems like, oh, Connor's being so nitpicky, or like, this is all to help you. Y'all already have the resume. You are making incredible change for the world. We need more sustainability practitioners kicking butt in business or whatever, right? Just blanket statement. And so I just want to help put your best foot forward. So please don't be intimidated by, oh gosh, like what's Connor going to say? Or y'all are in this cohort because you're impressive, right? There's no question about that. It's just how do we now present that And that's the easiest part. You've done 99% of the lift just by being who you are. So just wanted to clarify. Please don't be scared. Please ask to have your profile viewed. Awesome. For those that don't know, Michael, what is this? What is this?
It's just a certification, Sustainability Accounting Standards Board certification.
Awesome. So I might change rather than instead of having candidate, I might say certification. And then even that might be worth having in parentheses, like explaining just a little bit what it is, because you make that your top thing. Everyone might not know that. If you're like, well, the people I want to connect with, I really hope know that. That's my distinguishing factor. Then you leave that, right? Just want to speak to all the context that, yeah, want to give all the context. Your about section. I love that this is short. I love that this is really quick to read. Let me see. It feels a little long. I'm going to read it out loud. Purpose-driven sustainability professional working in green workforce development. That part is just a little too long. But seeking to advance environmental stewardship, social equity, and economic prosperity, chef's kiss. Awesome. I know what you're all about. For top skills, again, similar to what I've shared in the first presentation, we're starting the outline with just like bare bones. In the very beginning of LinkedIn, it's a photo. And then I'm adding a couple words. Later on, I'm adding just a few more words, a sentence or two. And as we keep going, we get into more and more details. So that's generally how you want it to flow. If you get to the very end and you look at, I forget what it's called, but it's like the things that you're most passionate about. If those don't align with what you have at the top, that's a good pulse check. Okay, wanted to give that context. Top skills. So similar to what I just shared, it's great to have more skills at the bottom. I would try and make this 3 at the most. I know I said the rule of 3 to 5, but again, in the beginning, that's where I'd want to keep it. Love that you got some awesome featured section, material. Here, I love that you're using what I call these larger bullets. I think that these are a little too long, and there's too many, especially if on my phone, like I'm not sure I want to read this one, because that's a lot to sift through. I'm probably going to read 1, maybe 2, and then skip to the last stuff, much like how people look at resumes. Yeah, let's see. I love the use of graphics. If you can, people want to click that. LinkedIn is awesome because it presents the highest level, and then it allows the viewer to either keep it at that high level and just slowly go down and like slowly unpack things, or people can do a real deep dive. I can click into this, I can click the graphic, I can see the hyperlink. It's like, some people want to be nosy and like see everything that this person's about. Yeah, seeing a constant theme of like sustainability and impact. Wow, that's a impressive school. Love to see it. Excellent. Let's see. Ideally, if you can get icons, sometimes they're not there, but try and do that. And then to be real specific, I always try to avoid like a dash or like bullets because that creates variability and it looks particularly strange on a phone. For skills, 37. Let it be known that I had told Michael ahead of time that I would crack this joke. No one's going to look at skill 26 and say, this is our guy. So one, Michael, I think that post I had shared would be really great to help you boost your profile after this call. More than happy to look through. But where I'd shared, there are 2 areas where I think that 3 to 5 rule doesn't apply. One is the skill section. It's okay if that's closer to 12 or 15. Ideally, you do have it at 3 or 5, and you're just strongly like, these are my key areas of expertise. But yeah, get that lower to 15. And you don't have to do it all in one pass. It could take time. And it's okay to refine it. Your skills that you had when you first became a young professional could look really different in even 5 years. And then if you're a polyglot, if you speak multiple languages, put it. If I think often if people are like, well, I just speak English and I'm going to put fluent, it's implied. You don't have to do that. And then on my profile, I have Luganda. I am not as good as I once was. And rather than like kind of slowly lowering my capabilities, I might just have Luganda there because that creates the ability, or that allows people to make the best assumptions maybe rather than assuming the lowest. Let's see. Top voices, excellent. Overall thoughts, the way I would approach this, Michael, love this. Even just zooming in on your face a little bit could make a world of difference. You don't have to fundamentally change the picture. Maybe some of those notes I'd shared there, and then just barely tweaking the about section. That's awesome. This is often the hardest thing, and I think you just got to truncate the first part. Other notes, yeah, this should be an easy cleanup. Just like the absolute best thing, 1 to 2 lines. Otherwise, I didn't doing that throughout the whole thing. Oh, and then skills. But otherwise, you're in a super, super great place. Let me check the
Thank you,
time.
Connor.
Okay, we're doing good. I have some